my favorite technique is just a ring pour on the top and let it flow down the sides. That's beautiful. Hey everybody, it's Anna.
And Lauren.
Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So Lauren is here as my big helper and also the inspiration for today's video, because for Valentine's Day she gave me these 5 lovely paint colors, and I thought I want to make a vase or 2 with those paints. So Lauren, what did we mix those paints with to get them ready for a vase pour? Do you remember?
Apple barrel medium.
Apple barrel pouring medium. Very good. It was a tongue twister for her just a minute ago. So we mixed those up with apple barrel pouring medium, and you can check the video description for the video that shows how we mixed it. But the consistency of the paint, it flows nicely. It's a medium thick probably. So it piles up, it makes a soft mound. You want your paint for a vase to be about as thick as it can be while still flowing really nicely. Yeah, I might need one. I got a little bit of blue on my finger. Eep. Not much. The most important thing is that all of your paints are mixed to the same consistency. So then I got these glass vases from the dollar store. I love getting glass vases from the dollar store because they're nice and cheap, but you can find them other places as well. So just make sure that you get them clean, that you get the sticker off of the bottom, and then either wash it with soap to make sure that there's no oily residue on the sides, or you can wipe it down with rubbing alcohol. That's also great for cleaning before you pour.
Did you rub it with alcohol?
I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to right before we pour on the vases. For the actual pouring, my favorite technique is just a ring pour on the top and let it flow down the sides. And so I either use a small paper cup because I can pinch it, or you can use a silicone reusable cup because those also have a spout. So I'm not sure which one of these we're going to use, but I think I'm going to do 2 vases so that I can use these wonderful 6 colors and kind of mix them up for different color balances for each vase. What do you think? Are we ready?
Pink on this one.
Pink on this one. What do you think, Lauren? Are we ready to paint? So what do we say?
Ding!
Ding! Let's paint some vases. Okay, so I've got my vase set up here on top of my cup, and today I've put it on a spinner. I've never used a spinner before. This is not to make the paint spread. I'm not going to be spinning it quickly, but this will allow me to turn it and be able to look at all sides of the vase while I pour it and after I pour it, which will be nice because usually I can only look at one side. I'm going to use the little silicone cup here to pour it out, and for my first one I'm just going to use the 5 kind of cool colors, the green, blue, purple, pink, and white. And I'll save the yellow for the second vase. So I'm just going to pour my paint here into the cup. I'm going to make small layers. If you have a lot of small layers, then you're going to get a lot of color blend. If you have larger layers, then you'll get more sections that are one particular color. But if you want lots of small layers, then do lots of small layers in your cup. And particularly towards the top of the cup, we want smaller layers. So, smaller amount of green, smaller amount of blue, and I have the white kind of separating my blue and green from the pink and purple. in order to try to keep those two colors kind of separate. Great. So I'm going to leave my cups here because I might need a little bit more paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ring pour about half of this cup onto the vase, and then as it spreads, I'm going to help it spread the rest of the way with my finger, and then I'll pour some more over the top. Here we go. And I will turn it a little bit as I pour it out. That will help the layers of color not all be exactly the same. Okay, so I'll stop there. That's beautiful. I'm going to torch it quickly as it spreads to pop some of these air bubbles. Look, I've even got some celery action. That's cool. Okay, so now I'm going to just help this paint spread all down the edge. Man, this is really nice on a spinner. You don't need a spinner. This is my first time using a spinner, but it's really very handy to just be able to turn it and not have to walk around the whole thing. So there's not as much coverage on this side. And you don't have to cover it all the way, but if you get the glass somewhat wet with paint, it helps the rest of it spread evenly when you pour the last bit of it out. Okay, so my white's kind of getting lost here, so I'm going to add some more white into this cup. I'm going to pour it down in from a height so that it drops down into the cup. All right, let's pour some more out. There's some white. Got a nice blue layer there. Guess we're down at the bottom of the cup now, where it's mostly the blue and green. Slowing down my ring to make it really controlled. Look at that. Wow. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit this way to let the color run off the other side because our pattern is getting slightly warped here. There we go. Do you see now the paint can start running down this side? Now maybe you like the diagonal effect, but if you don't, then you might just have to adjust your vase so that the paint spreads evenly. All right, I see some air bubbles, which are slowing down the paint, so I'm going to pop those again. So this is going to continue to stretch for another few minutes, but I like how we have sort of the pink and purple side here, and then here we've got this nice piece of green, and then we've got the blue and the green and the purple layers. That's a beautiful diagonal side there. And then back around to the pink and purple. So it's a really interesting vase from all angles. And of course the top, or the bottom, has this lovely swirled part too. All right, let this continue to flow for about 3 or 4 more minutes, and then I'm going to move it and set up my next one. Okay, it's time for me to move this one off the stand and get the next vase set up. Okay, time for the next one. So this one I had been planning on doing with more ocean colors, the blue, green, white, and then this yellow, because I thought that would look really beachy. But in the last vase we lost a lot of the pink and purple, and it ended up being largely blue and green anyway. So I want to do another one with the pinks and purples and add the yellow and the green. So I'm not putting in blue. So hopefully it'll look like beautiful spring flowers sort of in a meadow. So that's what I'm hoping for. And because I want more of the pink, I'm going to put the pink down in the bottom. Because on our last one we had a lot of the blue and green left at the end. So I want to put pinks and purples at the end particularly. And then some white, larger layers of white. Great. Okay, so we have a nice stacked cup. I think these colors will go really well together. So let's pour out the first about half of the cup. Okay, it's looking good. I'm going to torch the bubbles. And then spread it out. So I really don't like this yellow and purple right next to each other. That is not my favorite combination. I'm going to add a bit more white and green, maybe just a little bit of the yellow and pink, and then I'll pour it out. Man, it's like all green. What happened to the pinks and purples? Here they come. But there's not enough of it. That's crazy. Look, it's like all green. So I'm going to add just a bit more pink and purple and white to the cup to get a little bit more. And I'm even going to shake it a little in the cup so it's not quite so pure, you know, straight colored as it comes out. There we go. But we don't want to lose all the green. It's difficult to know when to stop, because right now it's still mostly green, but by the time this stretches, we might have lost most of the green. Who knows? All right, I'm going to torch again, but I don't see lots of air bubbles. That's some really pretty layers there with the white. So right now this one looks great. It's got a lot of the green, it's got a lot of this. I have a feeling by the time it finishes stretching, the green will be almost completely gone. So I really do like the white, pink, and purple here, and you can see a bit of that yellowish in there. So I really like the layers. And here too, we got some nice, there's a bit of that gold in there. So it's very interesting, even just this top half. And if that's all that's left at the end, that's fine. But I wish it had been more of a blend. It's kind of a bummer that it wasn't. All right, but let me let this stretch for a couple minutes. Well, as predicted, look at that. There's just a tiny bit of green left. Really cool patterning though. It's gone all kind of reactive here on the white section, so that's very interesting. But it's very beautiful. I'm undecided whether I'm going to pour a third or not, but this one is finished. Let me see if I want to do another one. Okay, I decided I am going to do one more because I had a third vase. This one I'm going to do sort of the beachy colors, so blue, green, my yellow, and some white. I had to mix up more white because I had used almost all of it up. All right, that out of the way. So I'm going to use the same cup that I used at the beginning because it's largely blue and green. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. I'm going to try to add really small layers of color with a lot of white sort of in between almost each layer, because I don't want any one color to be overpowering. And actually, instead of filling a cup all the way full and pouring out half and then pouring out the other half, I'm just filling it up halfway, and I'm going to pour that out, and then I'm going to layer it again for the second part. Okay, so look how pretty that is. I love that gradient. I'm gonna pop some air bubbles. I do somewhat wonder how much I want the green to be in there, but the green combined with the yellow, and where the yellow mixes with the white, that's so pretty. So I really like it. I'm gonna keep going with that basic color scheme, but perhaps a little bit less green. Okay, so let's layer up the second round of this cup. And I'll do it the same. Small layers with a lot of white in between and not quite as much green. So I'm going to stop my pour here, even though there's still more paint in the cup, because I really like this band of yellow and I don't want to lose all of it. That is gorgeous. All right, let's let this stretch and see how that looks. I can't get over this. This is beautiful. So I think we're going to lose more of this, but there's still that golden color up in there. Beautiful ripples of blue and green and white. I love this. All right, let's let it sit for a few minutes and see how that looks. Well, this may still stretch a bit more, but I think this is absolute perfection. I love this blend of colors. It's very sandy, tropical, citrusy. I just love it. So I will show you how all of these vases look when they're dry. Okay, it's been a few days and the vases are dry to the touch. So this is the first one. So those lines are really beautiful. The layers that we got there. On this side it's very soft, like the white is not really distinct, and the blue and green, it's just really like dreamy layers. I do love where the purple mixes in with the blue and green, because this side is especially nice. So that bottom is really pretty. And then the fun part about this vase is the inside. The inside has all those pinks and purples, which went on in the first coat. So that's what's cool about this vase, is it's all blue and green on the outside, but it's pink and purple on the inside. So that's fun. So when I took it off of the cup, I just used a razor blade to trim the paint around the edge, and that's very easy. So the next vase, this one went all weird. You see how we had beautiful layers and they've gone crazy. I don't totally understand it, but look at the white there. It's like the white. This was Sargent white. All the rest of my colors were apple barrel paints, though some of them were the standard matte apple barrel craft paints and some were indoor-outdoor gloss. So it could be that using two different types of the paint, as well as using the Sargent white paint, it could have just caused a weird reaction. So Lauren likes this one best because it's pink. But it's a very strange design. Maybe you like it better. The bottom is really cool. It's got that ring pour in it. And the inside has so much of the green and yellow. So that is kind of a surprising inside as well. But there's the pink one. And then the third one, which was my favorite, it dried absolutely perfectly. So it did shift a bit more after I turned off the cameras, but there's still plenty of every color. So beautiful. The layers are just amazing. And then the inside's kind of blue. Not as much layers on the inside, but at least the inside and the outside match. So what's interesting about looking at all three of these together is I feel like every time I pour vases, I have kind of this same progression, which is I start and then I forget exactly what the magic formula is. Like with this one, we lost all the pink and purple because there was too much blue and green at the bottom of the cup. This one, I don't know. This one I had to pour so many times and I don't know why it did this. But then this one, because I poured it twice and each one I layered the cup fresh, I think that's why my layers are a lot crisper on this one, because instead of it being paint from the bottom of a cup, which has mixed together somewhat, all the paint that's here is fresh paint from the top of a cup. Also, the white that I used here, this was Creative Inspirations paint instead of the Sargent paint. So Sargent was in both of these. Creative Inspirations is just, it's more of a tube paint, so it's a better quality paint, and that might be why it held its shape better. than the other white. So it's always a bit of a learning curve, and when you pour vases, it's a good idea to try 2 or 3 because you can learn from your mistakes and get better with each one. Thank you guys for watching this fun vase pouring video with the paints that Lauren gave me. I hope it inspired you to try something new. Let me know down in the comments, have you ever painted on a vase? And do you want to try now that you've seen this video? I will see you guys very soon. Bye guys!